Hi LSCCs! I'm so excited coming to you this month with this Choose Aliveness skill refresh. Today we're going to be talking about the saboteur and the imposter. So depending on what cohort you went through or when you entered this community, you might have different language around limiting beliefs. Often limiting beliefs are going to sneak in, especially when people are getting ready to change, when they're anticipating change, when they're motivated to change. That's when limiting beliefs around I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough, I'm too much, who do I think I am anyway, someone else that has more or is better or has done better would be better for this particular thing or to lead this particular initiative. So you have a client, you're working around their big A agenda, working around their topic, and that limiting beliefs start to surface, right? We've called that voice the saboteur. In your coactive coaching text, Saboteur Awareness is a coaching skill that you always want to have with you. So as soon as you are aware that the saboteur is speaking and not the client's true self, we ask, who's talking? Who's talking here? Because if we are rooted and grounded in our Lark Song assumptions that every person is naturally creative, resourceful, whole, and relational. Everyone is uniquely valuable. Everyone is worthy of being championed. Everyone is capable of solving complex problems. Everyone is ready to live at choice. Then when the saboteur is choosing for us rather than our true self, it denies some of those assumptions, some of those things that we declare to be true about ourselves and about the rest of humanity. So when the saboteur shows up and the saboteur starts speaking in a particular session, the client becomes uncoachable because the saboteur is not coachable. The saboteur's job description is to protect the status quo. And if the purpose of coaching is to create new insight or new learning and then new habit creation or new practices to help transform lives, evoke transformation, and in general lead us all to a more fulfilled and flourishing world, then the saboteur protecting the status quo isn't in line with the purpose of coaching and it isn't coachable. So in order to continue coaching our client and their true self, we have to separate the saboteur, separate them from the client's true self and put the saboteur over here with its own voice, its own job description, its own characteristics, its own persona, wardrobe, all of that. Right, so the saboteur usually speaks from a voice of shame. It's a voice that says that you're not worthy, you're not deserving, who do you think you are? You haven't healed from that pain, you're not ready, you need to get your ducks in a row first, that sort of thing. So usually we can identify that's the saboteur, or who's talking, that's the saboteur, because of the color that shame or the tone that shame leaves on that voice and the vocabulary of the person that's speaking. There is another voice as well that we, in recent cohorts, as far back as cohort 11, have started identifying in our clients that is similar to the saboteur, but distinct from it. And we call this voice the imposter. So we all are familiar with the saboteur. Hopefully you are constantly listening and being aware of when the saboteur enters your session and starts taking power from your client. But this new addition of the imposter has been really helpful because often when people start growing and learning, they know their values, their purpose, they're speaking from their own voice, they have their own power, they're operating from a wholehearted agreement that says, yes, I will take care of myself and I will know my impact. For some people, it's the first time in their life that they've experienced that sort of freedom. And they actually don't recognize the impact that that has on the people around them. Instead of always operating out of their true self, one that has compassion for themselves and the people around them, one that recognizes, according to our laboratory agreement, when a mistake has been made or when a failure has happened. They learn from that, apologize, and course correct. Our true selves are the ones that self-manage well because they consider and respect other people while holding all of the Lark Song assumptions. Sometimes we forget those assumptions about everybody else, and we only apply them to ourselves, which violates the co-activity, co-creating, power with, partnering principles of servant leadership that Lark Song is firmly committed to. So instead of the saboteur, we don't necessarily think anymore, I'm too much, I'm not enough, I'm not deserving. Instead, we start thinking that about other people, that they're not deserving of our best, that they're not deserving of our truest selves, that they're not deserving of generosity, that they're not deserving of sharing in vision or sharing in resource with us. And that voice is the voice of the imposter. You can tell the voice of the imposter because it has a color and tone of self-righteousness. It has a color and tone that says, oh, if only you knew, if only you knew, if only you had had this journey that I had, then you would know. If only you were as mature as I am, if only you had been through this developmental process, then you would understand why I'm doing this. Then you would understand why I'm operating out of this freedom and why you might interpret it as a negative impact. Then you might understand why this other appointment is more important than the commitment that I made to you and honoring that, right? So the imposter is kind of the one that comes up behind the saboteur, and it declares itself as self-righteous. It declares itself as knowing and seeing and being informed, and but it still does not operate from a place of curiosity. It does not operate from a place that partners with others. It doesn't operate from a place that says everyone is worthy of being championed. It also doesn't operate from a place that sees everyone as having scarcity and everyone having abundance, including myself. So we wanted to refresh you with the saboteur and also make sure that you all knew about that second voice, that imposter voice that pops up sometimes too. Add that to your awareness as a coach, add that to your vocabulary as a coach. Use the imposter with your clients that you've been with maybe for a little while. They've got a handle on the saboteur and they understand how to rapidly recover from that, but they're starting to think of themselves quite a bit more highly than maybe they ought to, and not recognizing the impact that their change and transformation is having on other people around them. So hope that encourages you and keeps you fresh, keeps you renewed. We want to hear your stories, and we want to know how the imposter might be showing up in you and some different tools that you have used to help defeat that and rapidly recover from it.